It's part of the RSVP Cycles, which is a guiding principle of my philosophy and how do you design. They are part of the RSVP Cycles deals exactly with that, and that is you're dealing with the resources that are there. They're not only geographical, but they're biological, they're ecological, they're human. All of those are the culture and the site. They're all parts of the idea of the resources that you have to deal with on a creative level instead of arguing about them and trying to discard them. I constantly use them as part of the creative part of the design. The RSVP Cycles originated because originally I became very aware of the fact that as I designed, if I didn't include people somehow, they became angry, literally. I thought of ways at that moment where I would try to get a system going which would allow people to feel a creative part, who are going to be shareholders and occupants of an environment, that would allow them to participate in not only the dialogue as clients, but also as participants in the solution. That seemed, now it doesn't seem so odd. I think it's gotten written into the books now. You have to do that sort of thing as a result. But at that time, it was a new idea. And very soon thereafter, Anna was, my wife, was going to Stockholm to perform. And the same thing happened. She had some people that she was bringing in to help her with the performance, and she couldn't teach, she couldn't get them to understand what we wanted from. She asked me to help. And so I used a system called scoring, which is like musical scoring, but instead of musical notes for that a composer makes to give to a musician to perform, you know, Isaac Cern playing the violin, he has to have a score that somebody has given him. A score for activities where you do the same thing. You give people an activity that they need to perform, which I call scoring, just like musical scoring. I wrote a series of scores for the people who were going to perform with Anna, teaching them how to take the following steps and how to move from one side of the stage to another, and it worked perfectly. And so that helped also, and that was, the first one was R. That was scores. And then it took me a while because I didn't know how to deal with feedback and the issue of criteria and excellence. And finally I decided that I'd use a word that I made up called value action, which has to do with the value of things and what you're going to do with it. That you do when you interact with people, and they, you know, you say to somebody, I agree with you in general, but on the other hand, that's not going to work very well. Arriving at consensus is a value action. In architecture, we call them crits, but they're not quite crits because they're not critical. They're always accepting of the other guy, but commenting and interacting. So that's V. And then I realized that what I'd done was RSVP, which is a communication feedback system. Now that just came by chance, I'll admit, but it was very helpful because that's what I was trying to do. And that's what the RSVP Cycles is about. I use it all the time in design, in doing workshops with people, in helping people participate with me in design, in communities up at the Sea Ranch, very often from time to time. The people at the Sea Ranch want to examine their lives up there and see how they're operating as a community, and we have workshops together. And so it's an ongoing process that has been very, very helpful and has influenced a lot of people in the sense that now it's almost a law, I believe, that in most community design projects for the government, you have to do some workshops of that kind. So it's gotten to be in the mainstream in a sense.